WA learners. You are welcome to Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates.
Eko Learners Support, a support program of the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education for WAEC and NECO candidates.
The topic for discussion today is adaptation. Previously, we considered 3 different types of adaptations, where we looked at behavioral, physiological, and we mentioned structural adaptation. We will be focusing on structural adaptation, and that is our topic for today. This topic has the following learning objectives. It is expected that by the end of the day, confidently you'll be able to define structural adaptation. You'll be able to highlight the various forms of structures for adaptation with relevant examples. You will be able to discuss the various adaptive features used by different organisms to tackle the challenges faced from adverse climatic or weather conditions. What do we understand by structural adaptation? Structural adaptation refers to special modification of structures which enables organisms to survive in their environment. As we all know, adaptation centers on survival of an organism in its environment. Without survival in an environment, organism cannot be able to carry out its functions, which are enormous tasks. Structural adaptation, we consider it as a body part or coloring of physical features that aids survival. We will be looking at examples. We have plants have long, narrow leaf structures in order to reduce water in a desert environment. We have certain organisms that have what is called prehensile tail. We are looking at spider monkey. What do they use these prehensile tails for? For climbing. We have a number of other organisms that possesses this prehensile tail. Then we'll look at organisms developed physical structural features which are beneficial to them and increase their ability to survive in their dwelling place or places. It is important to state at this particular function, since you are preparing for external examination, topics or questions often comes from adaptation. And what will be the focus? Either we call it features, or we call it structures. Features or structures possessed by these different organisms. It can be a plant, it can be an animal. What will these features or these structures do for them to survive? They use different structures or features to carry out specific functions. So we are looking at some structural adaptations of organisms, and they include the following. We have structures that enable organisms to obtain food. Structures that enable organisms to obtain their food. The first example that we are looking at is a bird. That is an animal. What is the structure or the features that we are looking at? One, it has a beak and it has a claws. We are looking at using these features for survival. What does a bird do with a beak? The beak is used by birds generally to pick grains. So when you are studying structure adaptation generally, remember I wrote here, you need to consider features and structures as well as the functions which the structure or the feature is used for. Here is an example. A beak possessed by all birds, it has a major function, and that is what? For feeding. We have clouds. Clouds, what do they use it for? It is equally to pick prey. Pick prey. What they feed on? Like a hawk that is picking a hen or a chick. So the hawk will use the cloth to hold, to grab the animal together and run away with it. We are looking at insects. Insects have different mouth parts. We have some for sucking, we have some for chewing. So their mouth part is modified for feeding. We have some group of organisms that we call insectivorous or carnivorous. But remember this, plants. Insectivorous, carnivorous plants, yes. Some plants, they are adapted or they feed by possessing structures or features that enables them to pick either an animal, carnivorous, or they pick insects. And that is where the name insectivorous plants comes from. What is the significance of this? As you can see here, this structure is for trapping food. So the first set that we looked at is what? Structures possessed by different organisms for the purposes of obtaining food. The next one, we are looking at defense and protection against predators. So how will a prey protect itself from predators? Some of these prey, they have physical defense. What do I mean? Some of them, they have spines, some have scales, some animals have shells. All of these are to protect their bodies from being attacked or eaten by a predator. Example of organisms that possess some of these features, we can have it in, as we have in porcupines. Porcupines, they possess spines. An attempt to prey on porcupines, what will they do? They roll into a ball, and what you just see on their body is a spine. No animal will want to pick it. We have turtles. What do we have in turtles? Can you write any of them? Okay, turtles, scales or shells? They have shells that is impenetrable by animals. We have praying mantis. Then we have the last one as cactus. Cactus, they equally have spines on their bodies. Animals will not even want to go near it. Cactus is a plant. Praying mantis is an animal. What does the praying mantis do? Praying mantis camouflage. The color on its body blends it with the environment. Okay? So we are moving on with our lesson. Structural adaptation. We have some organisms that their own structures or the way they are composed enables them to mimic, to present their body in such a way that it looks like an organism, an animal, or they mimic, they express themselves like a particular animal or plant, but it is not. What do we have? What do they use this method for? To protect or prevent an organism from being eaten. Examples, we have it in snakes or butterfly. When you look at a butterfly, the beautiful colors, in most cases, on the vegetation, blends it with the environment. When you see the green butterfly in a green ground or land, you will not easily pick it. The other example that we are looking at is chemical defense. Automatically, chemical defense speaks of what? Emitting substances. What do we have here? Chemical substances. chemical substances. And what does this one do? It repels the animals from coming in contact with the prey. We have animals. A number of animals, they have stings. Can we take some examples? Animals that stings, you can talk of scorpions and a number of other ones. A number of snakes, they have fangs that they use to fight back. Then we have insects. They possess poisons. Insects, some of them are poisonous, some of them radiate different substances, then biting mouth parts. Even in plants, plants are not left out. We have a particular type of plants, Alamander, they have poisonous latex. Poisonous latex. Not later, this is latex, substance that is produced. Some other organisms, what do they have? Camouflage. And what is this concept of camouflage? I mentioned it earlier on. They have a body shape or color that makes them to blend with their surroundings. This can easily be seen in caterpillars, which is a developmental stage of an insect. Then we have some concealing coloration. Here I will write chameleon. Chameleon. Chameleon has the ability to pick on the color that prevails in its environment. Here we have securing mates, another form of structural adaptations, meaning some organisms, they have features or structures that enable them to do what? Secure mates. Here we have animals, we have plants, and you can see these two. What do they have? They possess attractive or bright colors. With example, hibiscus flower, lizard. There are so many other organisms that they possess bright color, beautiful colors. Aside hibiscus flower and lizards, we have another wonderful birds, peacock. Peacock. You know a peacock? Peacock. When peacock locates a peahen, how does it attract it? It will raise, do a kind of dance, turn its back up, and all the beautiful feathers, the feathers with the beautiful colors will be displayed. That is another way by which organism is adapted structurally to secure a mate. We have structural adaptations for regulation of body temperature. Features that enable organisms to regulate their body temperature. Why? They need to do certain things against heat, insulation. What and what do they use? The first one I have here is what? Skin covering. Skin covering. I have some organisms listed on the board. When you look at them carefully, you will see different structures or features that they use. Some hair or fur. You know, in mammals we mention hair or fur in mammals for covering. Then we have feathers. Feathers is commonly found in birds. Here is a feather. And when you look at different organisms that we have here with fur or skin or feathers, this one that we have here uses fur. Then we have some organisms, higher ones now. They have layer of fat under their skin, like mammals, human beings, Homo sapiens. We have layers of fat under our skin that keeps us warm, insulated. Then we consider body size and shape. All of this, what do? They protect against cold, against heat, and desiccation. This desiccation is the same thing as what? Drying up. Then there is the need for organisms to avoid freezing or overheating. We are looking at what? Structures that certain organisms use for regulation of body temperature. So here we have example of animals with shells. Turtles, we have a turtle, tortoise, and we have snails. Snail is common, we have it around us. Conservation of water. This is another aspect of structural adaptation. Conservation of water. particularly those organisms that live in the arid region where we have very low water supply due to scarcity or low rainfall annually. So these organisms, they need to do certain things for what? To prevent dehydration, so that the water in their body is not lost entirely to the environment. Several organisms, for this purpose, we are limiting it to two. The first one is a camel, and the second organism that we are looking at is a cactus. A camel representing animal, and we are looking at plants as an organism that represents the plants. Camel, what does it have? Let's look at the board. It has doubly thick skin so that it doesn't lose water too easily. Water storing capacity within the cells. So in order for it to maintain constant activities, it equally have thick, bushy eyebrow. This enables it to regulate its body by retaining water. Then we have nostrils, which can be closed during desert. All of this, when it's closing the nostrils, it reduces the rate of metabolic activities within the body, thereby conserving water. What about a cactus? Cactus as a plant has so many features that is of interest. One, their leaves are reduced to a spine or to spines, like hair-like structure. What does it do? It regulates water loss through transpiration. Another important feature possessed by cactus, they have wide and deep roots. What is that one for? For absorption of water, because they live in area where they don't have constant water supply. Rainfall is very low. What else do they have? Succulent or swollen stem. Succulent is soft. When you look at a cactus, you will observe, the real one, you will observe that the stem is swollen, is filled up with water for water conservation. Then the stems are green. Wherever you see green color in plants, relatively, we are looking at what? Photosynthesis. Adaptation of plants. We've mentioned cactus and some of the features. Here are different types. Pictures revealing the different types of cactus. Roots, stems, and their spines, which we have already mentioned. Here we have cactus too, and the features that they possess. Cactus, what do they have? They adapt to desert life, their stems, their spines, their roots, the deep layer stomata that reduces the amount of water loss. Then this other point, waxy skin and short growing season. Waxy skin or covering, since it's a plant. Skin, yes, covering. So this reduces the rate at which the plant loses water to the environment. So with what we have studied today, looking at the screen, I have an exercise for you. Let's read together. Animals can be classified in many ways. Make a table grouping these animals according to their body covering. And what are the body coverings? Skin, scales, fur or hair, feathers, and shell. So for these 5 structures, you are going to place at least 1 or 2 of these organisms under the group. So you have just 2 minutes to attempt this question. Many of these organisms here, there's a whale, a rabbit, a snake, turtle, or zebra, fish, a frog, lion, salamander, butterfly, snail, cat, bird, and crocodile. So quickly, I know you are working, you are attempting it. Welcome back, learners. Let's quickly go through the exercise. I have a table prepared on the board. So compare what I have on the board with your own answers. Quickly, let's go. Body covering, then animal that possesses it. The first here is a shell. Under the shell, I have turtles, I have snails. Do you have that as your answer? Good. And if your answer is incorrect, you can quickly compare what is on the board. The next one here, or 4. This can be found in the following organisms based on the pictures that was given to us: rabbit, cat, zebra, lion, and whale. The next one is scales. Scales can be found in the following organisms. I have snakes, salamander, crocodiles, and fish. Fish, yes. Bony fishes, they have scales all over their bodies. Skin, it is a frog that falls into that category. It has a smooth body. And the last but not the least is the feathers, which is possessed by all birds. Birds generally. The other organism that possesses, they have feathers too. At this point or junction, permit me to stress this for the purposes of examination. Whenever they ask you a question on adaptation, they will want you to answer by stating this cluster: feature, stroke, structure. On one side, then on the other side, you must be able to state the function, either function or functions. When it is marked, this one will score 1 mark, and the function will equally score 1 mark. Go through the past question papers, you will be able to establish this. This is a K, okay, mark is a K. So structure and feature on one side, then the other side of it is a function. And it is important to say this: if your feature and structure is correctly stated, but your function is wrong, you will lose the mark for function, but you will score the mark for feature or structure. Note, if feature and structure is wrong, you are losing the mark for the function. Spelling is very, very important in biology. For questions, for observations, you can contact us through our social media handles, which is displayed on the board. Thank you for your time.
Acing your WAEC and NECO examinations has been made easy by the Lagos State Ministry of Basic and Secondary Education with the Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO Candidates television program. Join seasoned teachers as they take you through these core subjects: mathematics, English language, physics, chemistry, and biology, targeting the exact syllabus of WAEC and NECO. Watch Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates on this station. Learners can also connect with Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates through these social media platforms to access more educational content and give their feedback. Eko Learners Support for WAEC and NECO candidates. Pass your examinations with flying colors.